Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. It's still dark, really. Here we are in August, and so it's going to be darker later in this pretend time, daylight savings time. We have from 1880, Windsor, Canadian, age 3 years, Beam-Suntory, formerly age 4 years. Okay, $10.99 per bottle. All right, cheaper per ounce if you get the big handle bottle, but I didn't want that, and I said, oh well, I'll pay $10.99. I couldn't see the tag. W Windsor. Okay. Michael Jennings said he can't get that in Ontario, Canada, but he sees that it's west of the Rocky Mountains, like in that area in Canada, or maybe not that far west of Ontario, Manitoba. Well, he's not driving all the way out there to get this, and who would blame him? But if he is ever in the area, he might buy it, try it. It's kind of a traditional Canadian whiskey label. They tend to have the white label with the fancy writing, talking about Canada the whole way down. The competitor is Gibson's Finest Canadian Whiskey Rare. Well, it is rare in this parish because it's not sold here. I bought this big bottle at Savannah Discount in Marrero, Louisiana, 1.75 liter bottle, 1,750 milliliter bottle. So it's the same size as that Windsor with an extra 1,000 milliliters thrown in. The handle bottle, in other words, because it's got a handle on the back where you can grab it. All right. It's glass too, not the depressing plastic. There's two deer by a shield with a maple leaf and a beaver. That's their Canadian device. It's got a real wooden cap with a cork, okay? Why it was $9.99 for this huge bottle, I do not know. Savannah Discount has strange prices, but I don't mind because I get great deals. It's got the maple leaf on it. There's the cork. Now, a plastic cork, a real cork. A lot of Canadians kept asking me, review this, review this. And then I tried it, and I really didn't like it, even though it's aged 12 years. I didn't think it tasted very good. I noticed the strange thing about that was some of these people who were constantly commenting on my videos, like literally almost every video. I love your reviews, and talking to me on Facebook with different things. Oh, now when I said that I wasn't too impressed with Gibson's, it seemed like they took exception to it, or one of the people, and I never really heard much from him again. And I'm thinking, why would you? Okay, there's 12-year age. Why would that matter if you're like, oh, I'm all bought in. I love your channel, man. It's great. It's inspired me to get a second career, or whatever the case. And then, what about this Gibson's? And I finally get it, and then I'd say it's really not that good. And you say, well, I'm turning my back on you because I don't like the way you treated my favorite whiskey. Well, I have to call them as I see them. You see, if I think it's not that great, I'm not going to sit there and say, well, let me say it's real good so I don't upset people. That can't happen, okay? Not with this channel, it won't happen. They're both golden, so there's no appearance difference. If you give me a whiskey, a brandy, a rum, gin, beer, wine, whatever, and you ask me to review it and give an honest review, that is what I'm going to do, okay? But I'm not going to talk about how good it is if it's really not that good just because you gave it to me. If my father started brewing beer and he says, I raised you, remember that. remember all I've done for you. Now here's the beer, and give an honest review. I'm going to give an honest review, and if it's a D and it's terrible, I'm going to say, well, it's bad. You know, I mean, I know you did all these things for me, but the beer is bad, and you want an honest review. But people are strange about these things. They'll do that in Rock and Roll Club. Not as bad though. They seem not to be quite as touchy with music. I mean, they're touchy, but with music they'll be like, "Oh, here's the song that changed my life," whatever, you know, that kind of thing. And I'll be like, "Okay." I'll listen to it and I'll say, "It's the first time I've heard that." I'll put a little abbreviation, FTL, whatever the first time listen for me. I'm letting them know I'll listen to it. I don't ignore people's posts. Okay. You post it on Rock and Roll Club, I'll listen to every post. You know? But sometimes the song is just terrible. And I'm thinking, how could this song inspire you? It's not even good. But I don't say negative things like that. But they'll ask me later, you didn't like it because I didn't put a thumbs up. I'll say, well, it was different. But I'll try to be diplomatic. I haven't heard that one before or whatever. Now, if they press me on it, of course, I'll say, well, I'm not going to lie, though. I'm not going to say, oh, well, that's just not my type of music. It might be my type of music. It just might be terrible. And if I'm impressed, I'll say, well, to me, it's a terrible song. I'm sorry. But usually they won't press because they'll get the message that I don't like it. Okay. So if you want me to review beer, wine, and liquor for you, I will. It's just me giving an opinion. You could get on the internet and do the same thing, give opinions. But I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to, fiddle with the review score to make a person happy. No way. This smells like regular old whiskey, and it's very corn. You say you mean like maize, corn. Yeah. Like grits. I forgot to buy grits again. I'd rather eat those in the winter time anyway. But just think of like corn chips without the salt. You know, you get that corn. All right. So not the greatest experience here, but I've said that about bourbon. You know, it tastes like a lot of corn to me, and people get so irate. And they'll be like, you don't understand bourbon. I said, I understand it's mostly corn. There's a little rye spice in the nose. What about wood and char and all that? No, not really. Maybe a little sherry, like they use blending sherry. I don't know. It's just kind of simple. I don't even know what that is right now. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you. Let's see what this one does. Oh, I'm choking. Oh, yes, corn, but there's a little more of that sweetness, sugary, like maybe they put rum in it, because these Canadian whiskeys tend to be flavored, but it tastes like, yeah, like might be some white rum, clear. They call it white rum or silver rum. It's really clear. It's neither white nor silver. So that's making me think this is the Windsor, because that does have that little sweetness to it. If I was looking to drink Canadian whiskey, would I pick either one of these? No, I would not. I mean, Gibson's has a great price, $9.99. Well, at Savannah discount, that's all gone. Well, it did have a great price on that awesome offer, $9.99 for that huge bottle. But I didn't think it was so good. And the Windsor is $10.99 for the regular bottle, and I don't see what's so terrific about it. Maybe that's why Beam-Suntory doesn't even want to put it on their website. They just want to sell it and be like, well, let's just not let people know about it. Let's not talk about it. They used to brag on it on their old website. And Kessler too. Kessler blended American whiskey. Oh, it's so great. Smooth as silk, which I agreed. It was a very good American blended whiskey. Gibson's, that website is useless. I didn't even post a link below. The website is a waste of time. There's nothing. I mean, you can go look at it. It's nothing to see. It's like a web page. There's no information. It's some cool guy at a bar. It looks like it's about 4 years old. You get a little write-up about it on the William Grant and Sons family, corporate website, but it's not. It's like they don't even care about it. They just put it there. Buy it if you want it. They give a lot more attention to like Clan McGregor blended Scotch whiskey than they give to Gibson's. Now Gibson's aged 12 years, but they show it no regard. So that's, to me, that's sending me a message that they don't care much about it. Okay, I got to taste this stuff. That's the impression I get when a company doesn't spend. This is the internet age, right? This is not 1989. This is 2019. I almost said 9. I forgot about 10 years. In 89, it would have been brochures. You could have written a letter to the company or called their 1-800 number and said, could you send me information about your products? They would have sent you a brochure. But now the brochures are online. Okay, same concept. Just in a different format. Well, if you're not giving any attention to the promotionals, that's telling me you don't care about it. And then you get a company like Pabst Brewing, they don't even pay attention to their own website. That's telling me they don't even care about their own company. I mean, what else? What other conclusion can I make? Sazerac, I'm starting to say that about them. Been 4 or 5 months. Their website hasn't been updated. But to be fair, they're getting ready to open the Sazerac Experience in October in New Orleans. And I think when that comes online, it'll all be revamped. They'll have a new, really super duper website and all that. Now, if that doesn't happen, it's the same old humdrum, out of date, low tech, and even worse now with nothing on it. Then I'm gonna say, well, look, I'm not going to be a homer. I'm not going to be out here bragging on it because it's from New Orleans. That's where the headquarters is. I'm not even going to care. I don't know Mr. Goldring, and I don't know Mrs. Goldring. But even if I did know them, they could live next door to me and I could hang out with them. I'd still tell them their website is trash. But I would be nicer about it. I'd be like, well, you might want to kind of lean in on them a little bit about it. But if they press me on it, like I said earlier, I would tell them it's trash. All right. Okay. I know what it is. That little sip was bitey. Like my friend David always says, bitey. It was bitey. It was a bit harsh. It was like, row, like a cat scratch. Like the cat bit me. Your cat bit me. That's what it's like. It's like you're pulling weeds out of the garden. A rosebud, a rosebud. The thorns catch your skin. You say, oh no, you don't get it. You don't grasp the concept of Gibson's. It's age 12 years and all that. I mean, I'm very proud of that. I'm telling you, what I'm getting out of here is not much. Not much enjoyable. It's complex in its own way. There's wood. There's even some char. There's the flavoring, like say rum and some kind of caramel flower, nectar, honeysuckle. But there's something harsh about it. And they said this is Gibson's finest. And I said this in a previous video. Well, if this is their finest, I'd hate to see their worst. Just something not. I know they pay $65 a bottle over there in Canada for these size bottles and all that. And I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? Okay. Yeah. I'm going to tell you why that's Windsor. It's It's got wood. There's even char, believe it or not. There's some sugary sweet. Now you notice the aroma was sort of reversed, but there's a sugary sweetness in it. You say like cane sugar, yeah, which makes no sense unless you consider that they could have a good deal of rum in it. And I know you're going to say no, 9.09% can be no higher than 9.9%. That's just under 10% additives, added other liqueurs and wines. Theoretically, that's true. In practice, that's not true or not the case. It could be a great deal more than 9.9% added flavoring to Canadian whiskey. If you dig deep into the legal requirements, which most people don't do, if they're even aware of these parameters, the 9.9 does not apply to whiskey sold in Canada to Canadians. Okay, it's never applied to that. And it does not apply to exports either, unless the company or the importer is asking for a certificate, which apparently, like a certificate saying, could you verify the percentages used in this Canadian whiskey? And then the law says they have to provide the certificate. But if they don't ask for it, and from what I'm reading, that's rarely done because no one even cares, then all the bets are off. There is no 9.9 rule. It's only applicable to people requesting a certificate. So if it's coming to the United States and it's 25% rum and nobody's asking, ain't nobody telling, and nobody's going to care. If it sells, so you say, oh, that's adulterated. That's not true whiskey, whatever the case. Well, what I read on the website was I'm talking about official papers, and I'm not talking about somebody writing, making a contention. I'm talking about primary sources. That it has to be, what's the percentage? Like 71%, or it could be 75, something in the 70s. 70-something% of the liquor used in the Canadian whiskey has to be Canadian derived. Now, the other percentage could come from Jamaica or Tajikistan, doesn't matter. So it's like, wow, this is like, you got a lot of leeway with this stuff. Yes, sir. And another rule, it has to be aged at least 3 years, all the components. Okay, now that's not a big deal, because you get all that stuff aging and you got millions of gallons, millions of barrels, and it just keep rotating it in and out. That isn't really an issue. General generators are fake, says hello. Hello to you. All right, so if you want to say Canadian whiskey's flim flam stuff or whatever, that's fine. I don't say that because I just go by what it tastes like and looking at the price and the labels, the label design, the bottle design. I really don't care about all the component parts of it, because you get into the same thing with bourbon. It has to be 51% corn. That's it. The other 49% grains, those don't matter. So think about that from a moment. Let that roll around in your head. If it has to be 51% corn and the other grains on the 49% don't even matter, well, think of all the variation you could have there, the wide variety of flavors and aromas. That's not exactly purified. You say, no, but straight bourbon has to be aged at least 2 years. Well, so what? 2 years, big deal. 2 years. Wow. That's not that impressive. And you got the Jim Beam commercials they used to run with Mila Kunis, the Russian immigrant, American citizen. In case you're wondering, doesn't matter to me. She's saying, we age our whiskey our bourbon 2 years longer than required. 4 long years. Well, that's not long, 4 years. This sounds nice on a commercial. Oh, this Gibson's. Oh, I never said it was terrible. I say it was a little harsh. Are most people buying Gibsons and drinking it straight? I think we know the answer to that question. No. Are most people buying Windsor Canadian and doing taste challenges and swirling it around like, oh, I'm a big expert. I just got to taste all this whiskey and doing all this sniff test? You know the answer. No. They're putting almost no thought into it. And that's probably why they're successful. They're just kind of basic. You buy it, you mix it, you go on about your business. You're not doing videos all fixated on those aspects of it. You say, but what if I want to be fixated on it? What if I want to have some kind of unusual, eccentric hobby about it? Well, that's fine too. See, you do both. I mean, you could do either one. You couldn't do both. You couldn't be fixated on it and not care about it at the same time. No, you couldn't do that. All right. So which one's better? Well, I think the Windsor's better. I prefer it. And I'm not even a big fan of it, to tell you the truth. I know you might be saying, well, you didn't check the label. You could be wrong. This is very true. I don't think I'm wrong, though. What did I get? Like 7 out of the last 8 challenges correct? This could be 8 out of 9, I think. I think I'm going to get it right. So let's see, W. If it says W, I got it. Now, tomorrow is Scotch. We're getting into blended Scotch for a good while. And it's Chivas Regal. Yeah, really quality stuff. That's why you're paying $34 a bottle. You want to pay $8.99 for these little cheap things? Fine. Then deal with it as they exist, which is what I do. You want to step up, then you got to pay up. And I'm going up against Piper Dean. You say, Piper Dean? That's like $5.99 at Albertsons. Right. You know how that's going to turn out. Okay, W. Please be W. Yeah. I got it. You are such a great expert. Well, nah, not really. It's just practice. I do a lot of practicing. And it's the real answer is that they don't really taste that similar. So chances are, if you take your time, you'll get it right. I took my time and I got it right. Ooh. Oh, Gibson's, you nasty little item. But I'll drink the whole bottle, you know. I mean, I'm just being dramatic. It's fine, I guess. All right, but anyway, it's kind of fun to fool with, though. It's interesting. Can't say it's not interesting. Thanks for watching this video production. And yeah, I got it. Scotch tomorrow. We're going to take a trip to Scotland. Thank you.